Hi, Madception community. Welcome to this second episode of Chillaxing with Mad Live. So we are here about 30 minutes together. I have a new guest today, and as you know, I will ask my guest 5 questions. The 4 first questions are always the same, no matter who the guest is, but the 5th question is a surprise question, both for the guest and for you, and it's different for each guest. So make sure to stick in until the end so that you can maybe answer this surprise question. Let's jump right into the show.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane.
Welcome back. So my guest today here is Kate. Let's just bring in Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. Very excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you very much for joining. Before we jump into the show, I always love to introduce my guests without spoiling what you will say in the following questions, but just to say that if people want to find you, if they find what you are saying interesting, they can find you directly on LinkedIn. Sure that if you want to find Kate, just go on LinkedIn and search for Kate. You will find her there. Is there anything else you want to add about where people can find you?
No, I've got a website that I'm building at the moment, and it's very simple, www.kategondouin.com. But
Okay.
it's basically search on my name and you'll find me.
Okay, great. So I propose that we jump right into the first question. So my first question to you today, Kate, is can you share with us what is your personal and professional story so far?
Of course. So my personal and professional story is probably not that much different to a lot of other people. In that I went to university, I studied, I started working, and then it took a little bit of a turn in that I married a Frenchman and decided to move to France to live over here. And I moved here when I was pregnant with my first child. And at that time, everything started to go a little bit differently. So I've worked in private sector, public sector, in finance, in HR. I've traveled around the world, which gave me a huge appetite for seeing other things and experiencing different places. And that was pretty much the start of my roller coaster enjoyment life over here in France.
Okay, so from which country did you came from?
So I came from the UK. I lived in the UK pretty much all of my life, apart from a 3-month stint in Spain. And then I moved over to France in 2011. And that started a bigger journey.
Okay, love it in Toulouse here.
I love parts of it and not other parts. So I moved to Toulouse, the south of France, thinking that obviously in the south of France, the weather is fantastic. And yet over here, there is a lot of rain and a lot of wind. So yeah, it's a little bit of surprise. But what's really good about Toulouse is pretty much it's very close to lots of things. So you've got a big city, there's lots going on. But in a couple of hours, you can be at the beach. A couple of hours, you can be in the mountains. And a couple of hours, normally, pre-COVID, I could be back in the UK seeing family and friends.
Yeah. Okay, so are you married? Do you have children?
I am married. I'm married to a Frenchman who fortunately speaks English just like a normal English person. So that means that my French is, it doesn't have to be so polished. And I've got 2 children, a girl and a boy, who have given me so much joy and so many experiences and challenges along the way. But yeah, they've really added to the kind of like the colour of my life, let's put it that way. And they've both been born over here in France. So they are completely bilingual and bicultural. So I'm the only one who hasn't got the French at the same level. So my children relish the time when they could correct me with my grammar mistakes and my French spelling mistakes and everything. So so I've got my little translating walking dictionaries nearby.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Okay. So I think we met each other when at Airbus, because we were at some point in our life, both of us at Airbus. What is your journey today, professionally speaking?
So I started way back when in Barclays over in the UK, and then having spent a year traveling around the world, I came back and moved to Bristol, and that's where I started my Airbus journey. And I was with Airbus for about 16, 17 years, something like that.
Wow.
Working in procurement and HR and change and culture and all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
And then during, as a result of COVID, obviously the aerospace industry has been affected quite a lot. And I took the decision to leave Airbus and to retrain and to go and do what I have been wanting to do for a long time, and my heart has been pulling me towards, and that's to become a coach, and specifically to be an expat coach. So supporting other expats who are living and working abroad, navigating all of the kind of like the fun and games of living and working when your family and support network are not necessarily so close, and just dealing with the day-to-day challenges of juggling family and work. So that's what I do now.
Wow, amazing. Quite a shift in your professional life to go from working for a big company to say, okay, I want to do things on my own way, trying to find a kind of your ikigai, I would say, and move from that. Me working for Airbus as of today, I can see the big step that you have taken, and I'm very impressed.
Thank you. To be honest with you, Mad, I don't know if I really understood before I decided to leave Airbus exactly how many things would change. I definitely don't regret the decision, but I think the transition was a little bit more bumpy than I anticipated. Let's put it that way.
Okay, thank you very much, Kate. Before we jump to the second question, I want to remind you that you can ask some questions in the chat, because we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So maybe it's below in LinkedIn, and on the left or the right hand side that you have the comment section. Feel free to ask some question to Kate or to me, and maybe you can also answer the question that I'm asking Kate live, so that maybe we can also get to know more each other. So let's jump right into the second question. Kate, my second question to you today is, what is your biggest challenge so far in life, personally or professionally, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So as I mentioned before, one of the biggest challenges for me was transitioning from being in the UK to being here in France. It coincided with being pregnant with my first child. So I was transitioning as well from being an individual as a part of a couple to being a mum. And then obviously working as well on top of it. So my biggest challenge really was how to navigate all of those different priorities, and also to navigate the emotions and the kind of like the feelings that came up when I was looking at what I was doing, what I wanted to be doing, and seeing that actually it wasn't in alignment with who I thought I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. So that was my biggest challenge, and it took me quite a while to work through it, to be honest. But it culminated in the decision to leave Airbus, to pursue my dream to be a coach, which I actually was introduced to coaching about 20 odd years ago when I was at Barclays. And what I've learned is that I've used my experience both from a professional capacity within HR and within people development and leadership development and facilitation and all that sort of stuff, coupled with my experience of being a mum, being sleep deprived for quite a number of years, and kind of like helping other people to navigate it. So that was my challenge, really, was rebalancing my priorities and getting the situation in line with who I am and my values, so that it worked for me, but also the people that I care for and the people that I was working with, to really follow what my heart was telling me I wanted to be doing.
Okay, so yeah, if I can summarize, so moving from mobile, coming here, having to, to adapt, to blend in, and also to at the same time trying to search and find your own way, and then being able to, let's say, to work on it, and then find your, I would say, your ikigai. So if you don't know what ikigai is, just Google it.
Yeah.
So if it's shell.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, the other thing is that I totally underestimated the impact of moving to a country where I couldn't express myself to the same level that I could in my home country. So it was that kind of like adaptation on a professional and a personal level all at the same time. And I think, as I said, I just underestimated the impact that would have on my confidence, my self-esteem, my belief in myself, and all of that sort of stuff. So that was the biggest challenge, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much, Kate. I propose that we move to the next.
You're frozen, Mad. Mad, I can see you, but I can't hear anything. So I don't know if you want me to move on to the next question. So I'm not sure quite what's happening. Mad seems to have disappeared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and answer the next question. I assume that's what's supposed to be happening. So Mad, are you still there?
Yes, sorry, some connection issues. You know,
Don't worry.
I wanted to have a big, but to launch the show, but I say, okay, I have a very poor internet. Let's still do it. So we'll see what happens. The challenges of the live, you know. At least you know that it's live because clearly it's freezing. So I propose, thank you, to jump to the next question. So my next question to you is, imagine that the young Kate is here today with us from 10, 20 years ago, and you want to give an advice to your younger self. What would be that advice and why?
Okay, the advice to my younger self is to be careful what you say to yourself and choose your words carefully. One of the things that I've realized is that I'm quite a mental person in terms of, I think in terms of words and things like that. And the voices that you and the things that you say to yourself are always with you. So the shoulds, the coulds, the what if, or the questions, the where where I was questioning my ability, they were the things that have held me back. And they're the things that I have consciously worked on to overcome. And since doing that, I've able to follow my dreams and do a lot more, whereas before I was holding myself back. So very much choose your words carefully. Choose what you say to yourself. Be as nice to yourself as you are to your loved ones and your friends. And life will be a lot easier. So
thank you. I think I really resonate with that, because often I think we people are people with energy around us, and I think the things we say to ourselves and the words or the thoughts is like Wi-Fi. You know, you cannot see Wi-Fi, you cannot touch Wi-Fi. I'm streaming in Wi-Fi, but you know that it's around you. So for me, this is something very important to say. As you say, to be really very compassionate with other people, but by starting from ourselves.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kate. I propose that we jump down to the next question. So don't hesitate. If you have some questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. So my next question is, what do you do to chillax? What is the name of chillax meaning chilling and relaxing.
Yeah, great question, and I love this. So as a mother of two young children, my opportunity to chillax is not that great. But when I do have the opportunity, I love to create things and make things. So when I was younger, I used to do a lot of sewing and played music and drawing, and I still have a go at it now with the kids, but it's kind of like a bit hit and miss. But what I like to do is to just to get outside, to be out in nature, to go for a walk, to listen to some great music, be with friends, people who really touch my heart, and just sit down, have a cup of tea, enjoy just kind of like having 5 minutes of kind of like fun, watching a great movie. There's so many different things. I think it's one of those things that I try to enjoy the chillax in the little micro moments rather than having something monumental that is happening. So for me, it's those little snippets of, listening to the birds singing, or, this morning there was a squirrel trying to get in the house. So it was just watching the squirrel playing around in the garden. So it's kind of like, it's very much, it's not the big things, but it's all the little things that add up together that really help me. And that's what makes me chillax.
Okay, yeah. I think, for me, I think I resonate with you in the way that for me, the present where we are living like now is a present. So we should enjoy it. And as you said, each time, every day, have some moments. I love really the posts you post on LinkedIn or on the morning. Sometimes I see your post, you post a picture of nature or some thoughts. I really like your content on LinkedIn. So I really encourage people who are watching this either live or on replay to make sure to go check out and connect with Kate, because she's really posting amazing and inspiring, energetic for positive energy for me when I see your post on LinkedIn. So I encourage all of you who are watching to go and connect with Kate. Thank you very much, Kate. You can see that I'm pumped just talking with you.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, I propose that we jump to the next question, which is the This is really my favorite part of Chillaxing with Mad, because this is where I will ask you, Kate, a surprise question that I did not give you up front. You can confirm that I did not give you up front.
I can definitely confirm, and the nerves are going a little bit just in case it's a tough question. So I hope it's not too difficult.
Okay. In Chillaxing with Mad, we are between friends, so it will be a surprise question, but a very, let's say, easy or maybe challenging one. So.
It's fine. It's all good. Go for it.
The first question is, what is the mistake you have done that you will never...
Sorry, say that again. You cut out just as I got the big something.
Yeah, sorry, my internet connection again. So the question is, what is the biggest mistake that you have done in your life that you will never undo? Before you answer the question, is it clear? The question is clear.
It's very clear.
Before I answer the question, I maybe interact a little bit with the audience to let you answer the question. So I'm interested, if you are watching this live or on replay, to answer the question yourself. Imagine all the mistakes that you have done in the past. Just select the biggest one, and that you have done and that you will never undo. And maybe tell us in the comment section why you that mistake and why you don't ever undo it if you can go back in time. So this is the question that I have today for you, Kate.
Okay.
So you can see that it's a surprise question because you are thinking.
I am. You can see the cogs going.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So do you want me to answer it?
Yeah, for sure. We are live, so people are waiting for your answer. They're excited.
Okay. So my biggest mistake. Really, really good question. Thank you very much for that one, Mad. So my biggest mistake.
That you have done.
My biggest mistake.
That you have done that you will never undo, because there are some mistakes that we do that we want to undo, But this one, you
Yeah.
know that you have done it, you will never undo it.
Yeah.
For example, I can give you
So-
the answer. For example, for
Go on
me,
then,
it will
give
be
me your
like, okay,
answer.
today I'm working at Airbus. It's like maybe it's not my don't find my ikigai. It's I used like tag it maybe as a mistake that I will never
Yeah.
do, because at least today I have worked at Airbus.
You've frozen again, Mad. Okay, so Mad has obviously got internet connections going on today, big tech problems. So I will go ahead and just answer the question. So what is my biggest mistake that I have made that I would not undo? So the biggest mistake I made that I would not undo is probably what would I not undo? That's a really, really good question. I've got lots of mistakes that I would undo if I could.
Yeah.
But in terms of ones that I wouldn't undo, probably, to be honest, it's the same as yours. It's joining Airbus.
Yeah.
I joined Airbus on a short-term contract many moons ago, and it was always going to be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
And I got sucked into staying there longer than I anticipated. So the mistake was probably not leaving earlier.
Yes.
But if I had left earlier, the chances are I wouldn't have met my husband. I wouldn't have moved to France. I wouldn't have had my children. I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now to be able to help other people who are struggling with expat life, because I wouldn't have that experience myself. So I think the mistake is staying there longer than I planned, and not jumping into doing something else earlier on. But actually, with hindsight, if I'd have done that, I probably wouldn't have the richness of life that I have now, and probably not work through a lot of the issues that I needed to work through, which kind of like came to a head by staying in the company for longer. Hopefully that's an answer is answering the challenge question.
Yeah, I know it's quite because me, I have to think about the question up front and try to form an answer. So yeah, I think it's a great answer. Thank you very much for opening up with us. Thanks there. I mean, I have finished the 5 questions on the show. Is there something else that you wanted to share with us that you did not have the opportunity to share?
No, the thing for me is really just to say that one of the lessons that I've learned on my journey so far is the importance of having the right people around you, supporting you, and encouraging you. And one of the things that, it can get very lonely as a working mum. Yes, you've got colleagues and you've got family, but having time just for yourself and to reconnect with who you are. Sometimes having somebody outside to help you do that really is beneficial. I personally benefited a lot from working with different people who are outside of my direct sphere. And that's one of the things that, it's easier maybe for women to ask for help. Sometimes not, it depends on the people. But everybody can help each other. And it's just being aware of, what other people are going through. It may not be the same as your stuff, but everybody is human, and it's all the human relationships that are important. And if you get that right, then everything else can flow from it. So it's really just being conscious about, who you connect with, who you hang out with, who you have time to spend with, and making sure that you have time for yourself at some point every day, even if it's just for a 2-minute reconnect, because that will help you in the long run a lot more than anything else will.
Thank you, Kate.
A bit preachy, and it wasn't supposed to be preachy, but
I think
it's something that I feel very strongly about.
It's important. I think we all have been through, and we can feel the importance of being connected because we all want to be back now. And I think me also, I'm kind of a stranger because I came from Dakar, Senegal, and coming to France, even if I was speaking the language, it was still a challenge for me to blend into a new culture. So I can totally imagine that as a mom coming from another country, not speaking the language is even more challenging. And I think, as you said, for example, for me, really, I have, let's say, a table with 3 legs in my life. So to make it stable, I have, let's say, the first leg is my work, the second leg is my family, and the third leg is time for me. So I thought that either during my day or at least at some point in the week to have time for my family, my work, and myself, and really stable, I would say, in my life. So I totally resonate. That's why I'm really excited to have this conversation with you and to really that you are doing, helping, supporting other people, coming from the experience that you really like. It's not like you are telling to do. It's really an experience you have and you are sharing. And for me, this is really very powerful. And thank you for that.
Thank you. Mad, there's just one thing that I want to add to anybody that's still here. Just to be very obvious and honest with you, as Mad knows, I had a really, really tough time, and it was make or break in terms of my health and my well-being and all the rest of it. So I got to a very, very dark space, and I managed to get out of it, as I said, with the help of other people, not by taking medication, because it wasn't the solution for me. But you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But you need to get the right support and the right networks around you. And the world's your oyster. You can go anywhere and do anything. But if you try to do it on your own, it's a lot harder. And so I just encourage you, don't not play big because you're scared of what may or may not happen. But also use the resources around you, use your networks, use the people that you know to help you so that you can find your ikigai and you can follow whatever it is that your heart's telling you to do. And you've got your 3-legged stool and you can do it. Anybody can do it, they really can, but make sure that the journey is a good one rather than a hard one.
Thank you very much, Kate. So much wisdom in so many little time. I think I will need to rewatch the video to be able to write down everything that you have said because it's all done, I guess. Thank you very much, Kate. I think we have arrived at the end of the show. So I think we have something in the chat. So a shout out from one of my colleagues and working with me, Sony, from LinkedIn. So thank you very much for this live, Kate and Amadou. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to spend Sony, and we will see each other very soon. Thank you very much, Kate. I think if you like this video, you can hit the like button. You can comment if you are watching it on replay. And then after, if you want more from Madception, so this is my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Madception. Subscribe, comment. You know the drill. And most importantly, I really encourage you to go and connect with Kate on her LinkedIn profile, and you will learn a lot and you will get a lot. Thank you very much, Kate. And this is the end of the show. So I propose you to see you in the next episode. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Bye-bye.